this, man? Speaking of the best rappers, you know, we continuing with the hip hop talk today. Let's talk about Gucci, man. He sat down, you know, on a Ricky Smiley Morning Show, and he was asked about Eminem. You know, so let me get this video right here and play this part where he's asked about Eminem, and I get your thoughts on this.
Cool. Okay, so let me throw some names out. Somebody said right now Eminem is the king of rap. Why would you say he's not? You got to come with a better than that. That ain't even worth. All right, because I ain't playing Eminem in my car. Okay. You playing in yours? When he drops something, usually the week of. You sliding around playing Eminem in your car, you and your old lady? Nah, just dolo. Dolo playing Eminem, just metaphors. Yeah, just going in. Boy, because there's something for every occasion. When you ride a dolo, like, you know, you want it like. Yeah. Right. Now, what about like an obvious choice that a lot of people go to? Jay-Z. Each his own. He from up top, so that's canceling him out. Okay. But to me, if I'm in Atlanta, I'm gonna say Jay-Z, and I'm in Atlanta. So I'm gonna say, oh, I'm gonna go get Jay-Z. What? All these folks in Atlanta. Why the hell? Atlanta run rap. Why the hell would I say that for? That would be dumb as hell. Now y'all got the dopest talent pool to pull from, far as like artists that exactly. And looking at your track listing, they did before you got out.
All right, that's Gucci. Y'all can watch the rest on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Set a handful right there in that little 1 minute clip right there. Pretty much, you know, shot down Eminem all together. That was just real talk. What he said, you know, you listening to Eminem? No, I'm not. You know, maybe not something now. Old. Yeah, not back, now. Okay. You know, back in, 10, 15 years ago, I was probably bumping it when I was in high school, but not now. Talked about Jay-Z, said he's from the South, so that eliminates him. Keeping it real. We were just sitting here having a conversation a few minutes ago, me and you, about, you not living in the South. So you're not really being able to relate that much. So Sandman, I got to give this one to you first. What do you think about Gucci, man? Just, shooting down Eminem and Jay-Z as the top rappers.
Well, he just makes a great point. And I think his ultimate premise was, there's no disrespect to them, but how can you be from where I'm at and act like they the greatest rappers when I got a whole pool of people down here where I'm at? Where's he from? Georgia? Mm-hmm. And I got a whole bunch of rappers out here doing their thing. Why am I worried about who's the greatest up here when I got that down here? And I think it kind of goes and stretches on the point that we were making in the last segment. It's hard to kind of judge because we're not from around certain places, and certain demographics got certain different styles and sounds. And we all know the South, especially the last 2 decades, they done got a real crazy following behind them. And they are real genuine about their rappers, real genuine about their music, and they support it heavy. So when you hear Gucci, man, somebody that's real confident, someone that we've both respected highly on this podcast just because of the boss moves that he's made and the business decisions, and given the fact that he's been through what he's been through and still sitting there making the business moves that he's made. Like, he's a real businessman. Ain't no bullshit with him. He paid, what did he do, $40-something million off his taxes and just cleared that. Like, that ain't easy to do. When you paying Uncle Sam in full, yeah, you doing your thing, fam. Respect to you. So I definitely respect what he says. And I respect somebody up here that would say Gucci was garbage, because they may not understand his music. They may not understand his sound. And I know a lot of people that would be like, yo, Gucci's trash. I know a lot of people that die by Gucci. I know a lot of people that say the same thing about Lil Bootsy. I know a lot of people that say the same thing about your Kevin Gates and a lot of your Southern rappers out there, your T.I.s and things like that. It's just a different sound for people. And some people can really get drawn to it and resonate to it. And some people it repels, it turns off.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That, I think he just kept it 100% real. And that's why I think people love Gucci so much, even in his music. When you come to listen to it, he keeps it 100% raw in his interviews, his music. And he just, continue to do the same thing, right there. Eminem, obviously, that debate goes on and on, every day. But the Jay-Z one kind of surprised me a little bit, because you remember Jay-Z, had a lot of connections in the South, where, he was widely accepted by a lot of the people, even in the South. He's one of those rappers that actually transcended that. So that definitely surprises me with Gucci, man. But overall, I never liked Gucci at first, but I had to grow to like him. I used to always hear his name, but that was a South thing, like the Atlanta, even like South Carolina, they rock with Gucci, but up here we didn't. But now, since he's mainstream, now I can really, rock with Gucci, man. So yeah, man, that full interview was the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, and yeah, we can go in from there. But yeah, man, I would say one of my favorites down there is T.I. Definitely, in the South right now.
He transcended out here pretty well. When Rubber Band Man came out and that album came out, he was definitely out here like, okay, we respected what was going on out there. And of course, Outkast and who else was my man Young Jeezy,
Ludacris,
Bad Boy South, Ludacris,
right?
Just to name a few. But I wanted to stretch on the point of right before we turned it off, you said you were surprised about the Jay-Z comment.
Yeah.
Then we heard him say it was blackballed. Do you think that Jay-Z had anything to do with it? He has no big brother. Now, we all know Jay-Z was a lot of people big brother. And he made it a point to say, I ain't got no big brother. I'm out here doing this on my own. So talk about that. Elaborate on that. Just give some, because I know we didn't hear the full story of what he was talking about. But what do you think?
I don't know. I want to say that Jay-Z, had nothing to do with it. I think it was like something that happened in that whole South thing. You know what I mean? Something they had going on, down there. I would like to hear him elaborate more on that. But I don't think Jay-Z per se had anything to do with that, but he did it the right way anyway. He doing it the independent way. He ain't missing nothing.
Winning.
You know what I mean? He get, he's the boss, getting 100% of the money up top, makes his albums, puts them out. So that's real dope what he did, and obviously he's winning now. Successful Bruno Mars, and it's really surprising, to see him, come. Not even gonna say surprising. It's really amazing to see him go from jail. He was strung out, go in jail, come out to the point that people's calling him a clone, making videos about him being a clone, but he just, just living his best life, doing it the best way he can. Just 100% businessman. I respect his hustle.
It's like a mug. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Especially almost like a Russell Simmons of the South. You know what I mean? The way people are doing it with music, but that's what we do, man. Anything that we touch, any industry, man, we do it, the biggest and the best. Absolutely. Everything that we touch. So shout out to Gucci, man, giving his opinion on Eminem, and Jay-Z, definitely.
Indeed.
Yes, sir. So you tuned into the Uncensored Truth podcast with your brother, Oh God, and Sam Man. We're going in today on this Monday, evening on the Uncensored Truth podcast. Every Friday night, we want y'all to make sure y'all tune in. If you're listening, you ain't got nothing to do about Friday night, 8 p.m. on Hip Hop News Uncensored. We do go live. We do a live show, open up the phone line, and all that. Also, we'll be getting the Wake and Bake podcast popping off real soon, on a different set. So, I want definitely make sure y'all tune in, for that. Definitely.
It should be fun, man. I'm looking forward to that. Wake and Bake podcast coming soon. That'll be exclusively on Viral Hip Hop News. We'll be going live on that podcast. It's real dope live we had this Friday, this past Friday, Hip Hop News Uncensored. We talked about the Kodak Black situation, bro. Got a lot of great responses involved with that conversation. Nicki Minaj and her wild ass boyfriend came around, and we just really love talking and
let's talk about that a little bit though.
Let's
talk a little bit about more than Nicki Minaj. Okay. Not just a little, because there's a lot of comments. Out there, a lot of people, maybe said some different things, about it. Ultimately, I just want to say, I'm not really, people can do what they want, or who they want to do it with. The reason why we kind of spoke about it was because more so with the situation with her brother. And then it was like, if the situation never happened with her brother, I probably would have been like, well, okay, whatever. But it just seems like it's a pattern.
It's a nasty pattern.
Yeah, it's a nasty, crazy pattern. You know what I'm saying? It's like we wanted to, just speak on it. We don't have to justify what we want to speak about on our platform. And people say, sometimes they will say, well, there's a lot more important things going on. And I get it, yeah. And I encourage people to do, take your platform and fill the void in. If that's your passion to talk about things different than we talk about, go ahead and fill that void and do that. And hopefully people will flock to that. You know what I mean? But we pick and choose, the best, what we feel like doing with our platform.
And what I'll also say, to stretch on that, not to cut you off, is this, because you do hear a lot of people saying, okay, y'all talk about this, but why not talk about X, Y, and Z? Well, I challenge you to this, because when we do talk about X, Y, and Z, and the views aren't as high as when we talk about the bullshit, that has to come to y'all. You understand? Y'all like the nonsense a little more than you like the positivity, and the numbers don't lie. It is what it is. Don't blame us for not covering it. You got to click and watch it because it's there. We talk about a lot of the injustices going on in society. We go against the grain on a lot of different topics and a lot of different issues, highlight the positivity that's going on within the hip hop community and art community. We try to go against the grain and do that. And we will continue to do that. Are they our highest rated views? 9 times out of 10, often they're not. But don't blame us for not putting it out for the people. You got to receive it. It is what it is. Yeah, no doubt. We do appreciate everybody who does, facts, listen in, and especially everybody on listening in their car, iTunes, Spotify. We were just joking and talking about, we was talking the Hot 97, conversation, and people, looking for other alternatives for news. You ain't gotta wait to go on the radio for their little 60-second news segment about hip hop. You can now, when something happens, you can go
get somebody's perspective on YouTube. You know, you can pick and choose, you know, who you want to listen to. And I love it. I just love that it's a variety of things that people can actually choose from. Because when we came up, it was only what, maybe it grew from maybe like 30, 40, 60, 100 channels. But we started off with probably 20, 30 channels.
And let's talk about radio station, what, 3?
Yeah, that's even fewer, right?
We wanted to listen to, you know what I mean? The R&B or the hip hop, we had 3 stations max, maybe 2. So it wasn't a lot to choose from. And like you said, we're in a day and age where it's so great because you can kind of pick and choose your music, pick and choose how you want to listen to it or who you want to get perspective from. It's just it's an amazing time where you can get different perspectives. And we pride ourselves in being one of the best. And like old God says, often most underrated podcast out here to date on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, whatever. But we're going to continue to just hit you with nonstop, great, raw, real, uncut content. Content Kings hashtag. We appreciate each and every one of y'all, the people out there that watching. Yeah, man.
Yes, so I'm going to talk about this one, Sam, man, before we skate out of here today.